I am continuing my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am reading in a chronological order of events, not according to publication or volume, so I will be skipping around a bit as I move along. Let's talk about Micah. Micah, he's an odd one, in my opinion. See, most of the prophets that we have are writing or prophesying in the cities, in the big populations. Jerusalem, Samaria, the two capitals. I mean, Isaiah's there in the capital of Jerusalem. Amos, when he went up to Israel, prophesied in Samaria. Well, he prophesied in Bethel, where the center of worship was with the golden calf. And Hosea, he's prophesying in Samaria. Micah, he's down in a small little village in the southwest of Judah, nearby to the city of Lachish, which is the second largest city in Judah, but he's a country boy. All the other prophets seem to be city slickers. Micah's a country boy. Now, we don't know a whole lot about Micah. He is from the town of, Marosheth, or Marosheth Gas, various other ways of saying it, but he seems to be the country boy ridiculing and condemning city life to a large extent. Now, he prophesied during the reign of Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, which means he comes on the scene a little bit after Isaiah and Hosea. Isaiah is the main prophet in Judah, and Hosea seems to be the main prophet in Israel at this time. They begin their prophesying in the days of Uzziah. Micah starts prophesying in the days of Jotham, the son of Uzziah. I would venture to say that at this time Isaiah is the president of the church. Or, Isaiah is at least the president in Judah, and maybe Hosea is the president in the north. But I think Isaiah is kind of your president. After Elisha, the next president of the church that we get is Isaiah. And Micah, he seems to be a local prophet. He starts prophesying while Isaiah is still prophesying. They're contemporary. Now, Micah he's definitely after Amos, because Amos prophesied during Jeroboam, which was only during the reign of Uzziah. So by the time Micah comes on the scene, Amos is probably dead. He was probably an old man when Isaiah and Hosea began to prophesy. So Micah is contemporary to Hosea and Isaiah, possibly also to a couple other prophets like Nahum. We will be talking about him later, but he's in the southwest of Judah, near the Philistines. And his prophecy, generally speaking, is about the Assyrian invasion and the destruction that the Assyrians caused. So a lot of what he prophesies is against the northern kingdom of Israel, but he does warn Judah that they will suffer the same fate. And Judah is invaded by Assyria, but they are able to drive Assyria out during the reign of Hezekiah, because Hezekiah is a righteous king. But Assyria seems to have come in their invasion. They come down through Israel, they conquer all the northern kingdom, and then they come down and conquer the Philistines along the coast, and then they attack Judah from the southwest, coming up through where Micah lived. So in Judah, his area is the first one to be attacked by the Assyrians. And this happens, I believe, during the reign of Hezekiah, because Ahaz hires Assyria, sends them all the tribute and presents to get their assistance, kind of becomes an ally of Assyria. And it's not until the time of Hezekiah that they actually start invading Judah. And so it's during all this time that Micah is prophesying. And like I said, we don't know much about him. He's one of the prophets. He doesn't even say who his father is. Like Hosea, he's Hosea the son of Beeri. Isaiah is the son of Amos. I think Amos was the son of Jonah the son of Amittai. So, but Micah is just Micah the Moreshethite. So we are not told who his family is. We don't know anything. We don't even know that. Now there is a couple of different sites in the modern day that claim to be the town of Moresheth. And I think there are two different places that claim to have the burial place of Micah. There's even an ancient Christian church called the Church of St. Micah. I don't know if it's still standing, but it was there for a while. But it's just, he's an interesting guy, as I say. He's the city boy. He's the country boy prophesying against all the city slickers. So, but speaking of his book, I do want to mention that the book seems to be divided into 3 sections, 3 separate prophecies, but none of them, we're not told when any of them were spoken. Now, when doing this, I was tempted to divide Micah into 3 sections. I would read the first part during the reign of Jotham, the second part during the reign of Ahaz, and the third part during the reign of Hezekiah. But because we don't really know when these prophecies were spoken specifically, I mean, it could be the other way around, I'm just putting them here during the reign of Ahaz, kind of in the center point of when Micah was prophesying. We're going to read through the entire book of Micah. And there are 2 things to point out here, two things to watch out for, is that Micah does repeat part of the prophecy of Isaiah. I mean, in Micah chapter 4, the first few verses are almost word for word from Isaiah chapter 2. And this just shows us that Micah had the words of Isaiah. He's almost certainly quoting Isaiah on this point. But then he adds a little extra of his own. He adds his own prophetic word to it. So this shows us that the prophets, they knew each other. They had a copy of the words. Isaiah is prophesying up in Jerusalem. Micah's down in the country in the southwest. Jerusalem's in the northeast of Judah. And Micah's down in the southwest in the country. But he has access to Isaiah's words. Isaiah was writing his words and probably having them sent throughout the kingdom so that the people knew the words of the prophets. These prophets weren't prophesying in isolation. Their words were being spread about. And so Micah clearly had Isaiah's words, and he quotes Isaiah and then expounds on it, adds a little more. And this is the same way we get in the modern day. Prophets are always quoting each other. Modern prophets are quoting Joseph Smith, they quote Brigham Young, they quote all the modern prophets, they quote President Nelson now, the apostles are frequently quoting. And so the idea, we have to understand that even though communication was not as readily available as it is today, in order to get these words spread out, you'd have to write it out on a scroll, send off, handwrite every copy and send it off. Most likely Isaiah's words, at least a copy of them, were sent to the city of Lachish, which was nearby Moresheth, where Micah could then get access to them. But there was at least some communication. They were spreading the word, and prophets would quote each other. I will also point out that Jeremiah, who lives somewhat later, about 30, 40 years after Micah, Jeremiah does talk about Micah as a prophet. So he is recognized as a prophet. So Isaiah, he quotes Isaiah, Jeremiah quotes Micah, or references Micah. So we have these interconnections of the prophets. The last thing I want to mention is Micah is the one place where, and we will get to it in the reading, but I do want to mention here, Micah is the only prophet that specifies that Christ would be born in Bethlehem. It is a unique prophecy to Micah. Keep that in mind. When we get to it, I will talk about it just a little bit more. But keep that in mind that this is a unique most of Hosea, he has a unique way of putting things, but most of what he says is repeated in other prophecies, just in different ways. But this is a unique prophecy to Micah. Now, Isaiah has some unique prophecies too, but he's got 63, over 60 chapters of prophecies. He's got a lot of prophecies there. So to have some uniqueness in there is not surprising. Micah has this one very famous and very unique prophecy. Keep that in mind as we move along. So anyways, let us continue on. We will start reading Micah, and I will see you there.